everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Now this weekend is a momentous one for us here in the United Kingdom because we have formally and finally left the European Union. It's taken an awful long time since the vote in 2016 to look at everything, arrange everything, and then finally have a date. And what have we achieved with that leaving? Nothing right now. We have in name left the European Union, but we have now gone on to what is called the transition period, which means good news in terms of purchases for silver, but it also means bad news in that we now have a whole new round of negotiations to look forward to over the course of 2020 as to the future relationship. But the good news is that we are moving forward with Brexit. We're not delaying, we're not having another referendum or anything silly like that. So good news from that perspective, and we are on the march forwards. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the future of buying this stuff here in the United Kingdom or in Europe. We can still take advantage of VAT advantage silver from places like the European Mint in Estonia or other European silver and gold dealers, which is really good news, and especially for those of you who've been waiting and wanting a group order in the wings carefully for the last couple of months. We've not done them because of the uncertainties around Brexit, and now we are ready to open those up again. So we're going to talk, there's a lot to get through today. Let's just crack on with it. So for those who are not perhaps in the know, perhaps you are new to the channel, we've done mega unboxings here before, and we've been able to do those simply because of the relationship that we have with the European Mint. By the way, these are some brand new poured silver bars that we are going to be showcasing next weekend to celebrate the opening of the European Mint group orders. And we have been using the European Mint for a long time. We used to do really big unboxings. We're talking like £50,000 worth, I think, is our record for an unboxing video, and that is absolutely redonkulous. And we haven't done them for a while because of Brexit. So we are now opening officially a group order because this transition period allows UK citizens still to buy things from other countries like Queen's Beast coins, like all of the other silver coins that the European Mint might have available. And because they're in the EU and we're still on the transition period, we're not in the EU anymore, but we are still on the transition period, trade is the same, which means no import duties when it comes into the UK. And that is set to last until the end of this year, December 2020. Who knows if that's going to be cut short? It's unlikely it's going to be cut short. In theory, it could be cut short, but it's very unlikely to be cut short, certainly in the near term anyway. And it's also potentially going to be extended depending on how the trade talks go over the course of this year. So it's going to be a pretty interesting year as we go forwards to look at how it's all going to pan out and what we're going to actually achieve in terms of a future trade arrangement, which has, of course, implications for the buying of silver here in the UK. So let's just quickly run over the group order, and then at the end of this video I want to just put a few of my thoughts and opinions on what that actually means for silver. Is this the last opportunities? Do we actually have no more chances to buy silver in the UK after this transition period? We'll talk a little bit about that as we go through. So group order wise, for those who don't know, it's basically a collective buying group that we arrange here in the Backyard Bullion household in conjunction with the European Mint. We have used other dealers in the past, but the European Mint are our dealer of preference. We don't, and that's very important to emphasize, we don't get any commission from these group orders. It's a bit of a conspiracy theory out there from a couple of, no offense to the trolls, but they're all nutbags, that we get 5% commission or something ridiculous from every single order placed, which is absolutely idiotic because margins on dealers are like 2% less than that even sometimes. So it's, we don't get any kind of commission from that. The only benefit we get is from any tips that people want to give us. A redonkulously big unboxing video here on YouTube, which of course helps our channel. I'm not going to lie, that does help our channel a lot. And, any other benefits that we might get, people might want to buy some of our hand-poured silver. If they do, great. If they don't, that's fine too. So that's very important to put up here to first. We are doing these group orders to help people save money when they want to buy silver, because if you want to go and buy a 10-ounce Queen's Beast coin, it doesn't have to be the Griffin, but if you just go and buy it from a UK dealer, you'll get slapped on 20% extra for VAT. For buying from the European Mint, it'll be a lower unit price, but you'll of course have to pay shipping costs. And that's where the group order side of things comes in. We all team up together and we end up saving money on the large international shipping box. You do have to pay a little bit of shipping from us to you, but ultimately it usually works out. Certainly for slightly larger orders, any orders between, I'd say, like 10 ounces and 50 ounces. You'll be saving anywhere from like, I don't know, £8-9 up to £15-20, depending on the type of postage that you look to have. Smaller orders of 1 or 2 coins, it's still going to save you money, but the question is whether or not you could have just bought that same coin from a UK dealer with the extra on it, and it would probably cost you about the same. So there's things to think about, and it's important to reiterate that any purchase decisions for these group orders are yours and yours alone. So if you are interested, this is just what I'm trying to get across, is an opportunity for a potential saving, and my advice is for you to do the maths yourself. I can help and I can demonstrate what the cost will be, and there's a link down in the description below to a thread over on the Silver Forum, which is where we arrange and organise and answer questions and do all of that jazz with basically a huge, it's a very large thread that I've created, but it needs to be with lots of different like T's and C's and lots of interesting questions about how it works and everything. I'm going to give a very, very brief rundown here of how they work. Traditionally, back in the day when we got started with these, you'd pay us directly for the coins. We'd place the order with the European Mint, get them delivered to us, and off it goes. That's not how we work these ones. We are working these ones with a special code that you would use when you check out with the European Mint. So that will be BYB group order. Again, all of this information is in the thread that's linked down below. So essentially the new order of play is that you will place an order with the European Mint directly yourselves. You will, in that checkout process, use the code BYB group order, and it will actually give you a massive €1 discount on your order. Fantastic, I know, but it's one of those weird things with websites. Sometimes you have to have a monetary value for a code to work. But anyway, you'll be able to use that code, and that allows us to identify any orders that are qualifying for the group order sort of discount. You select it to add to storage, and then you would get in touch with us either by email or over on the Silver Forum and tell us that you've placed that order with a copy of your order. We'll make a record of that. We'll liaise with the European Mint, and then at the end of each month, so the first ship date will be at the end of February. So it's going to be a delay before you get your items. We have to do it that way, otherwise it's just not financially viable for everybody involved and the European Mint, and it just makes more sense. So we do, and we get a bigger unboxing basically. So 1 month orders in, so if you want to place orders, you can do it today, you can even do it tomorrow, but you'd be waiting quite a while. Then when we get the coins and when it's all locked and done, we'll be in touch, we'll get you to pay some postage, and we'll get you to pay some postage from the international side of things as well, which will be 1.2% of the value of the order. So if you place an order for €100 worth of stuff, you'll pay €1.2. So €1.20 in international shipping, which I'm sure you can agree is an incredibly good deal, all things considered. You will then, of course, have to pay postage from us to you, and that's on your choice and your risk. So you'd have to look at the different types of postage available. For example, if you want special delivery, it might be an extra £7. So all in, you'd pay us £8 for your shipping, which for an order of that size would probably cost you about £20 for shipping. So you can see you're saving £10-12 potentially. So that's essentially how it works. As I said earlier, we don't get any commissions from these group orders. We don't receive funds from the European Mint in return for advertising or anything like that. This is just a partnership agreement where we can work with them to essentially drop ship and basically have a big unboxing. That's what we do. That's the payment that we get, is the big unboxing video. So ultimately, it's down to you whether or not you want to look to use it. I think it's quite good. You can get some good cheap stuff. Certainly cheaper if you're buying individual items from the UK, and certainly cheaper if you're buying larger bulk items. But there is a kind of price or sort of weight threshold for postage to consider, which is around 55 ounces worth of silver. If it's more than that, you might want to consider ordering directly with the European Mint and just paying for shipping, because the amount of cost it'll take to ship from us to you at the other end is quite a lot. Anyway, I've moaned on now about the group order, how it works for a while, and I've probably lost the attention of quite a lot of you by now. So that's essentially how it works. If you want more information, then go and have a look down in the description below. There's a link down there and you can see all of the information about it and how it works. And if you have any questions, just answer or ask us and we'll answer over on the forum or via email. Now, the last little bit of the video, just to round up with very brief, I don't really want to get too much into Brexit, but I have seen a lot of people, and in fact I've been asked a lot of times by people, whether or not this is going to be the last opportunity ever to buy silver, in the UK at a decent price without any taxes and things like that. I don't think so. I think ultimately a trade deal will be worked out. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be right. I think that there is chances that there will be no trade deals or unfavourable trade deals. But my message to all of you out there, I'm going to be candid here. I voted to remain in the European Union. I wanted to vote to remain because of the access primarily to cheaper metals, but I also like the idea of Europe. I like the idea of the togetherness of Europe, but at the same time I can very much appreciate and agree with a lot of the points around controlling our own trade future and things like that. So I definitely can understand the reasons for leaving. And now that we are in that process of leaving, I've embraced that, and I'm very much in favour of leaving because I'm excited about what could potentially come in terms of trade agreements with other countries like the US or Canada or Japan or wherever it might be. And it would be a sad day if we had a horrible trade agreement with the European Union and we could never work perhaps with the European Mint again because of the tax implications. But at the same time, if we had a trade agreement whereby we could work with some other dealers in the US, then that's got a bit of a silver lining to it, no pun intended. So, in my opinion, I think there's an interesting year ahead, certainly with 2020. How that's going to relate to the price of silver, I don't know. It could relate to the value of the pound. That's the one thing that I will say. And talking of the value of the pound, this is going to be a question which I get asked so often. The European Mint, and I know, well, hopefully they'll be watching. I don't know if they'll watch all of this video, but they are, the one bad thing I don't like about the European Mint is their exchange rate mechanism on their website is awful into pounds. So for the best indication of what it's actually going to cost you, look at their website in euros and then do a TransferWise or a Revolut, conversion into pounds, because their bog standard conversion on their website is atrocious. I've told them many times to change it, hasn't happened yet. Maybe one day it will. But that's my feedback and my only bit of advice for you guys. So anyway, value of the pound might change, value of silver might change in that sense, but it's all a bit up in the air. So for me personally, I will be enjoying and taking advantage of the transition period for silver for the rest of 2020, as it relates to my silver stacking, but also as it relates to our business and buying poured silver supplies, i.e. raw shot, so we can create things like these. Now, I haven't really talked too much about these here. We've got some new designs. We did these last year. There will be a video next week all about those. So if you want to find out more about these little bars, then please do subscribe to our channel, because there will be an interesting making of video next weekend. Otherwise, if you enjoyed today's video, if you like the idea of the group orders, if you want to find out more about them, then please make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe button. Otherwise, that's it from us today. Thank you one and all for watching. Have a fantastic weekend ahead. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.